Welcome guys, this is Woo0121 bringing you guys the comparison between the Elgato Game Capture unboxed and the Hauppauge HDPVR I've been using before. So let's start. Let's go for the HDPVR first. Let's get straight to the point. This is an old device, okay? So don't look down upon it. This is the first HDPVR. I think it went through a few revisions, but then it's still basically the same device that came out in 2008. A new one has come out. It's called the HDPVR 2, and that has HDMI support and stuff like that. But the quality of the video is basically very similar to this one. So later, when we actually have the video, I can show you more about, tell you guys more about it. Anyway, let's get to the pros. This supports a lot of inputs. So you have the S-video, video. You got the normal yellow video, the old school, so then you can get the N64s in here as well. You can, and in the back you have the component. It doesn't have HDMI, but that's okay because it's an old device. But this also means that because it only supports component for HD video, so you have to get adapters for your Xbox and PS3 in order for you to capture. You know, but that's a very small problem. They don't really cost that much, so that's okay. Another pro is that it supports optical in and optical out. It's great. You can get the 5.1 surround sound from your Xbox, and then if you watch your video back, you'll have like professional audio, and you'll feel like you're in the space or something like that. And then another great pro is that it has a power button. That means that you don't have to have this plugged into your computer for it to start, for you to play Xbox. Like, you can just turn this on without plugging it into your computer, and let's get that out there. And you can still play with your Xbox. You don't have to be capturing. That's the main thing. So yeah, a con. Let's move on to the cons. It's big, okay? It's pretty big. And the second thing is it overheats. You see that there's no fans, and when it overheats, your videos glitch up. If you look at the back into some Mass Effect videos and some other playthroughs I've done before with this Hauppauge HDPVR, there has been glitches in there which I have to fix. I have not had glitches with my game capture yet, even if I use it for a long time, like 2 hours or something, like capturing for 2 hours. That's a lot of time, but it never glitches out. But this can glitch the video. I'm sorry, it can corrupt the video. It's very annoying to fix in your editing program. The audio becomes unsynced, and you have to sync it all up again. It's very annoying. But an easy solution is to, like, I've found that if you put it upside down so that these vents actually point up, and you also turn off the LEDs, the blue LEDs that turn on when you record, it negates the problem. It's totally fine after that. So that's basically it. Another what else? Oh, another con. It's got a lot of cables, especially if you're running through a component. That's a lot of cables you have to use there, and that's just like a pet peeve. You don't want, and you probably don't want as you want the least amount of cables possible, because you have like you already have you have like 10 cables just because you have component coming in and out of this, and then you have your power, and then you have your USB, and depending on if you're using optical in or optical, if you're using the optical audio, then you might actually have to plug both of them in. And the con is that it doesn't come with an optical cable. It comes with a component cable, but it does not come with an optical. So if you're going to use optical, you're going to have to buy an extra optical or SPDIF or something like that input or / output cable, because if you're normally using the optical already, then you have one, but then in order for it to pass through, you need another one. So that's just another thing. But apart from that, it's actually quite nice. It's got like nice stands, and yeah, it's great for recording footage. So it's great. You can get these cheaper now because you can get them secondhand on eBay or something. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to the Game Capture HD. As you can see, it's much smaller, and I've already gone through the ports with you in the unboxing. You have the HDMI out, HDMI in, you have the AV in, this is for PS3 or component cables, and also your USB that goes out to your computer to capture. And let's jump straight into the pros, okay? This is small. Like, I can carry this around. You can go around on vacation and you can still like capture like Xbox everywhere. So it's very portable. Number 2, it's got so little cables. It's like, seriously, if you're using HDMI, it's the simplest thing in the world. In HDMI in and then HDMI out, and then you have the USB and you're done. You're capturing. You're good. You're good. That's it. But then another thing is that I don't know if you guys actually care, but it's glossy, so it's got fingerprints on it. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys care about it, so let's see. Look at those fingerprints. Anyway, let's get back to on topic. Another great thing about it is that the software itself, like the software on the PC, it has flashback recording, which is it'll keep on recording. You can go back to once you plug it into your computer, it'll keep on recording, and you can just cut pieces of video out. But that's great. And if you want more information, you can search this up. It's pretty hard to explain the software to you guys right now, but it's great. Another thing that this does better than the HDPVR, both the HDPVR and the HDPVR2, is that it captures in a higher bit rate. What's a bit rate? So basically that's like how much data is in the video per second or per frame. So the higher it is, the more depth and more details you get in the shot, in the scenery or in your video. It doesn't really matter if it's 1080p or something. It's just how much information is in the frame. So this retains more information, so it's better if you're gonna like color correct the footage afterwards. So that's great. And then the HDPVR, let's bring that back. The HDPVR, this one only has goes up to 13.5 megabits per second. Megabits per second. I don't know how to say that. How they refer to that, but it's megabits per second. 13.5 versus 30. Okay. The HDPVR2, you would expect that it has HDMI. So the HDPVR2 has HDMI, but then it still only captures at 13.5. So basically, the information in the frame isn't as like crisp. So then, when you're spinning around and stuff, information gets lost, and then you'll see some comparison later. I've recorded a piece of footage that compared the two. So yeah, but let's move on to the cons. Con number 1. This one needs power, okay? You have no power cables coming out of the Elgato, okay? What this means is that you'll have to either plug it into your computer constantly, and the good thing that saves like this from being a total con is that you don't have to have the program running. So you can just plug it in your computer and you can play anyway. But there's another solution, especially if you have Xbox or PS3. It's easy. You don't even have to plug it into your computer. You can plug it into how do I say this? An Apple slot, or like, you remember if you have. Oopsie daisies! I'm moving the camera. Okay. If you have. Okay, I'm gonna grab something real quick. If you have like a USB charger thing. If you have a USB charger, okay. If you have a USB charger like this, you can use this USB instead of like plugging it into your computer. If it's not available, you can just plug it into the wall, you know, plug it into the wall, and you can just play like that. Or alternatively, if you have a PS3 and an Xbox, you can just plug them into one of your available USB slots, which is like there's a load of them in your consoles. So it's seriously not a problem, but it's just less flexible because you can't just play on just turning it on, you know. Another con is this is a major one. It does not support 5.1 audio. Okay, as you can see on the HDMI, HDMI actually carries it's actually capable of carrying a 5.1 surround sound signal. So on the Xbox, you can either choose between 5.1 or stereo. Like me. If you're a guy like me who has like a headset, a surround sound headset, which I have the Astro A40s right now. You can't play with the Astro A40s because that's 5.1. You can play with them, but then it has to be forced to be stereo, which defeats the purpose of getting a surround sound headphone. But yeah, because this thing doesn't support the 5.1 audio. So on Xbox you can't differentiate between like I want my optical like I want the sound that goes to my headphones to be 5.1, but I want the sound that goes through the HDMI to be stereo. You can't do that. So then I had to find a solution, and the solution was to, and this is like a huge major con because you have to spend extra money on something. I had to get an extra adapter for my Xbox. So you just plug this in, and then it'll automatically become red and white. And the red and white, you have to plug in the red and white to extra red and white cables that you might have laying around, and you have to plug it into the this, which is the built. It comes with this adapter, and it has the component for PS3 because PS3, the HDMI on PS3 is copyright approved and stuff, so you can't really use the HDMI if you have PS3. And they do come with an adapter for just PS3, so you don't have to buy any extra cables for the PS3 anyway. And you just plug it in here, okay? And that's your audio solution. That's only audio, okay? And then you can plug in your HDMI, and then you just tell the program to take audio from these, because this adapter helps just down converts your 5.1 audio into your stereo format. So it's a hassle and it cost me a bit of money, but it's not that bad, and it doesn't affect me that much because I have found a solution for it. So that's the major con about this, is if you're not willing to spend extra money on an adapter, you're basically stuck with stereo. So I don't know. And that just about wraps it up for the game capture and HDPVR comparison. Even the HDPVR 2, it has HDMI support, but it basically does everything basically similarly to HDPVR. The only difference that the new one has is that it supports HDMI and it captures at 1080p. So but then the megabytes per second is still the same. It's still capped at 13.5. I've read the stats. So the video quality, especially the ones I'm comparing that are coming out right now, it's very similar, especially if you turn it to 720p anyway. So this is just the live portion of it. I would definitely go for this. If you're gonna go for a capturing device now, I would definitely go for the Elgato instead of the HDPVR 2, just because you have flashback recording and you also get higher megabits per second in your video, which is awesome. So let's go to the comparison of the capturing right now, okay? Well, before I start the video, guys, I just want to point out the fact that on the left, if you look up into the sky, this is the Elgato. The color is a bit more gradient and it fades more, while on the right it's more like a plain old sky with not much difference in color in between. On the right is, of course, the Hauppauge, and the left is Elgato. And the color difference is due to the fact that they capture at different bit rates. And I told you guys before that the Elgato can capture up to 30 megabits per second, while the Hauppauge can only capture at 13.5 at max. So that's the major difference in the color. It gets the higher bit rate allows the video to have more different types of colors inside instead of having like a flat color for like a gradient. So it puts more colors in between and allows just for more information to stay in the video. And right now I have the video set up to be 720p right now, and it's actually quite nice because 720p on the HDPVR 2 and the HDPVR that I'm using right now should be the same. I've checked the specs online, the bitrate is exactly the same, and of course 720p is universal, so the resolution is the same as well. So don't expect anything more, especially with 720p for the HDPVR 2 anyway. So this is sort of the easiest way that we could compare the Elgato and the Hauppauge at the same time, both at 720p. And if you can notice on the top right and just the right border of this video, that's the Hauppauge side. You can see two black bars just bordering on the side. It's an encoding error, part of the hardware. You can't really fix it. you can't really fix it by going into your capture software. You can only fix it in post if you're gonna edit your video or something. So this is a bit annoying. I decided not to fix it. You can it's easily fixed by like just enlarging the video a bit to match to fill the frame. But I decided not to edit it so that you guys can have the raw footage to compare between the two devices. Now we're gonna switch over to the 1080p and I setting video, and this is just the max settings you can push both of these devices to. On the left, we've switched sides now to being the Hauppauge on the left and the Elgato on the right. The frames are desynced right now because at max settings, these two devices only capture at around 30 frames per second, and while the game can run all the way up to 60 frames per second, so it's choosing frames to capture, and both devices might choose different frames to capture. And but anyway, I just put this in so that you guys can compare the max settings between the old HDPVR and the new Elgato. But of course, none of this matters to applies to the HDPVR2, because the HDPVR2 can go all the way up to the 1080p, which is where the Elgato can go up to as well. So right now, this is mainly just for comparison, just for fun. Why not put those in and put in the max settings just so you guys can see what it's like. But if you guys want to seriously compare the HDPVR2 to the Elgato, refer back to the 720p video, like the segment before, because the 720p reflects very highly on the HDPVR2 because the resolution is the same, the bit rate is also the same. So 720p is the way to go if you want to find how the video looks on the new HDPVR2 as well. So yeah. If you guys enjoy this video, please, you know, maybe subscribe or something. It's all your choice. It's all for free. But, you know, just do whatever you guys want. Thank you for watching anyway, and I hope to see you guys soon. This is Wu0131, and signing out. Thanks for watching.